Welcome to the Goofy Getaways Podcast, the show where travel planning becomes part of the fun. Here we share expert guidance, real experiences from our travel advisors, and thoughtful conversations designed to help travelers feel more confident before they ever leave home. I'm your host, Amy Blades, founder and CEO of Goofy Getaways, and each week we'll be bringing you insight, strategy, and support that turns good trips into unforgettable ones. Hello and welcome to the Goofy Getaways Podcast. I'm Amy Blades, owner and CEO of Goofy Getaways Travel Agency, and I am thrilled that you are here. This is season 2, episode 2 already. I feel like it's flying by. A little bit different format than we had first season, which I'm so excited about because I get to introduce you to you, the people that I get to work with every single day. So you're not just stuck with me, you're stuck with 2 of my good friends. And so I'm going to let them introduce themselves to you. And then we're going to get right into what it is we're talking about today. So, Cindy, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cindy. I live in Michigan. I've been a travel agent with Amy since the beginning. I absolutely love it. Love booking Disney, love booking anything. It's just my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here. And Arliss?
Hi, my name is Arliss Hammer, and I am originally from Puerto Rico, so I speak Espanol. And I now live in Seattle, Washington with my husband and my 2 little girls and a dog. And I love planning all Disney vacations and Universal Studios, and of course, helping my Hispanic and Latino clients as well.
Yeah, I think Arliss 2 years in a row has been our top Disneyland booker. So she does book all things Disney, but she's a little perfectionist at Disneyland. So thank both of you so much for being guests on the podcast. I think it's so exciting when I actually get to showcase all of us. It's really, really the best part of the job. So I think that the 2 of you obviously follow the podcast, and we do things a little bit differently. Some of the topics that we talk about are just really more getting into the real nitty gritty of the travel planning business, about what Goofy Getaways is, topics that sometimes you don't hear other places. This is a topic that I'm sure you've heard here or there, but we're talking today more about getting into early booking versus last minute bookings, and is one better than the other. So I actually just did a blog on this, so it actually kind of partners really, really well with the podcast today, because I think there's no wrong answer, and it really kind of depends who it is that you're talking to. There are sometimes I would say last minute is amazing, and then there's times I'd be like last minute not so cool. And then I would say planning a trip way in advance, it can be incredible, but you can also have an amazing vacation if you plan something super quick, right? Like some great deal comes out, or you have a last minute getaway, and it's like, ooh, sometimes those can be the best too. So I think one of the questions that we get asked, I'm sure that you guys do as well, when should I book? And I'm really curious just to have a discussion with both of you as to what is it that you tell your clients, or when you're even thinking about your own vacations, when do you tell people is the best time to book? Cindy, I'll let you kind of start with this if you don't mind.
The best time to book, I think, is when you are absolutely sure that you want to go. Let's start taking a look at things. Look at prices, look at availability. If it's a far away date, that's great. You've got more time to budget, to plan, maybe add a few little extra things to the vacation that you weren't thinking of. It's just, I say, as soon as you know, let's just start looking. And to book a reservation, no matter whether it's Disney or it's Universal or it's some all-inclusive, it's a small deposit. And most cases, it is refundable or changeable. So it's a small investment, I think, to just get the ball rolling. And then you know that you have something secure. You can think about it. And if you need to make changes, we make changes.
Yeah, because I think overall, when somebody is asking about that, like, okay, when is the best time to book? Tell me if you disagree, but I think it's number one, when is the best time to go that I'm going to have the best value? When is the best time to go no matter where you're going, where there's not going to be crowds? I think you guys know that I've been spending a lot of the summer out on the East Coast this year, which is something new for Chuck and I. And I was looking forward to, and I'm enjoying it, don't misunderstand me, but I was so looking forward to, just really experiencing it and thinking it was just going to be kind of low key. Well, that's like prime time to travel. So many people are there doing the same exact thing. So I really wonder sometimes if people are asking it for a specific reason, like if somebody has flexibility to plan something longer, or they don't have flexibility and they're like, look, the way my job works, I got to book something. If I get a weekend, I have to do it then. What about you, Arliss? When people ask you that, what is your take?
I think timing depends on what kind of experience you want. Because if you're someone who likes to plan ahead, likes to budget, I think that planning ahead, planning early is very beneficial. But if you're someone who is a little bit more on the flexible side and you're okay, like, or you're comfortable with uncertainty, I think that works great too. Like, it really, there's no wrong answer, like you mentioned earlier, and it just depends on the type of experience you want. Do you want adventure? Do you want something more relaxing? Do you want something for the kids or just like a couple's getaway? And the booking windows for a lot of destinations, like, it varies. So it really just depends on you.
Yeah, I agree completely. I think it just comes down to figuring out why they're asking the question, right? Are they asking it because we're looking at, they have this certain time and that's the only time they can go. So they're like, look, should we plan this right now because we can go right now? Or should we wait next year at this same time and go? It really all depends, I think, on what the client's asking the question for. And I think that's part of our job as travel consultants, is to figure out why they're asking the question. And I know we've said this before. I say it on the podcast all the time, and you guys hear it from me too. Our job is to really kind of keep our mouth shut and listen, especially that first introduction or that first conversation, talking enough to ask questions, but really listening to what the client says, because every single vacation that we book is absolutely different. And even clients that we have that are repeat clients, no two trips are the same. And it really depends what they want to get out of the trip, whether you're going to do something last minute or you're going to plan something ahead of time. Do you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think so too. Let's just kind of narrow in, I guess, but what do you think is the advantage of booking early? If someone comes to you and they want to book a trip a year and a half out, what's the advantage of that? Arliss?
There's more availability. There's more choices available. And especially if there's somebody who they know what they want, the type of room that they want, the type of, let's say it's a cruise, the type of cabin that they want, there's just more inventory for them to choose from.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What about you, Cindy?
That's what I was going to say, is that the availability, because a lot of clients that wait longer don't realize that they don't have that selection to choose from. And also, for people, I've done a lot of families lately, and if they want 3 or 4 staterooms, nothing says that if you wait a long time that you're going to get all those staterooms together, because especially in ships, they're sectioned off and there's a requirement for how many people are in a certain area due to the fire codes and everything. So there's a lot that comes into play where your cabins can be and how close you can be located. If you wait a little bit longer early on, you've pretty much got the pick of the crowd.
Yeah, and I think sometimes people don't realize that with cruises, the rate that comes out the minute pricing is released for a sailing is the cheapest you're going to get it.
Absolutely.
The longer that the price or the room sits there, like the closer you get to the trip is actually what makes a little more sense in talking about it. It's going to get more expensive. So that's when I try to say to people, if you know ahead of time and we're keeping our eye on when cruising is going to open, I say book early. Now, Cindy and I have taken cruises where we've booked very last minute, and you just have to know you are going to probably get a later dining time. Things like that. Sometimes the excursions fill up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're really thinking about a trip that is this a once in a lifetime trip for you, and there are certain things that you absolutely want to do, are you someone that has to eat early, not late? I think all of those things come into play when you're thinking about not just a cruise or not just Walt Disney World, or even Universal or an all-inclusive. There are so many different things that play into whatever destination it is that you're going to. So yeah, I think booking early, you're truly, in my opinion, you're never going to kick yourself for booking early. And your flights are usually going to be a better price as well. No matter what destination, having the extra time to plan exactly what you want, I don't think you'll ever go wrong there. And more flexibility, don't you think? Like this kind of with the whole entire thing. The whole entire trip. Yeah. What do you think then if you're talking about the last minute trips? So let's talk about the advantages of that, because there are sometimes when I just said the closer you get to the trip, it gets more expensive, which is true up to a certain point. But I mean, if there's a ship that's not full or rooms that aren't being booked, you better absolutely believe that you can get really good rates on last minute cruises, don't you think? Or trips.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where you have to be a little more flexible. Like if you're just kind of go with the flow and you're just going to go with whatever, then it's like, yeah, that works absolutely fine.
I just had the experience just a couple nights ago where I had some friends reach out and they're like, "Are there any last minute cruise deals with Royal Caribbean?" And I went in and they're looking for the week before Thanksgiving. And I was able to find them availability on the cruise ship, but it's a guaranteed stateroom, but at least it's like an ocean with a balcony, which is what they wanted. And they knew they were flexible enough that they knew that they were probably not going to be able to pick a deck or the specific room that they wanted, but at least they want a balcony. So they were okay with that and they were flexible. Royal has some incredible flash deals right now. And I think we applied like 4 different promotions for it. And the price was incredible. And this was for a 6-night Western Caribbean. So
Wow.
you really can like book last minute deals like that as well.
People ask me about like a guaranteed stateroom and if that's something, like what my thought is on it. And I'm like, if you know you're going to get that category, the only time a stateroom makes a big difference, I think, is when you're traveling with people and you want your room to be next to them.
Mhm.
Or if you are somebody that is seasick and has seasickness, then you definitely, want to be midship. But other than that, I mean, have you done guaranteed rooms before, Cindy?
Yeah. We've done 2, and it's worked out fine. I mean, we had no problem at all. We got in our room and we were like, wow. The room was a little bigger because of where it was located. It was a little further from the elevators. So, I mean, it doesn't always mean you're going to have an obstructed view. I feel that there's always going to be a quirk about your room. But knock on wood, we've had really good luck with it. So,
Yeah. So perks of booking a last minute trip can be financial, might be able to get a really good deal. Perks of booking ahead of time, I feel like you're going to get that planning piece. Like you're going to have more time to plan what it is you're doing. But let's be honest, if I'm going on a cruise, I just want to sit in the spa so I can book that sucker as far in advance or I could next weekend go on one and just say, hey, this is what I want to do. But yeah, I feel like it's a question I get a lot. When you have clients that reach out to you, is that probably one of the most common questions you get is like, when's the best time to go? Yeah, I think so too. I think one of the things with booking last minute, sometimes people forget too, is like, and we talked about room availability, but resort availability. Sometimes, I actually popped on today. I was looking for something which I feel like is far in advance, but in December because I have to be somewhere for a conference. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to add like an extra day or 2 on. And the availability was like almost gone. And I'm like, geez, I mean, and I'm feeling like a couple of months is like not last minute, but yeah. I think sometimes too, make sure and tell your clients, and I do, not to get in that like discount trap, if you will, thinking sometimes if you can get something that is, you have to make sure and articulate to your client. So I'm going to use an example of like Coronado, right? I love Coronado. I love the tower at Coronado. So you have to make sure when you're talking to your clients about picking the right resort, if it's something that's last minute and you have people that are going to Coronado and they end up in like the main area, the old area, right? The neighborhood areas, and they think that they see that big giant tower, like you need to make sure that you're really talking about what destination you're at, what resort you're at, what the availability is for specific rooms and locations, because that's another big thing too. Have you ever done that? Have you yourself ever booked something and then didn't realize it wasn't what you wanted it to be?
Mhm.
Probably because we keep our eye out. Maybe no, because like we keep our eye out for that. But I mean, I know people that have done that and I'm like, that's why you use a travel advisor, because it's those kind of things. I'm just telling you, it's those kind of things. So let's just bump right on into the truth about pricing and promotions and price increases. We get asked this every single year at a certain time. We know that whether any of us like it or not, prices are going to tend to go up everywhere at a certain amount of time. Disney is kind of known for this. So always telling people to try to get that trip in particular booked further ahead of time, because even if the resorts aren't going to go up, ticket prices are going to go up. So I
yeah.
think it really depends on the destination that you're going to.
Royal is the one that, like Arliss said, I think their last minute deals are knockoff. I
Yeah.
mean,
Oh my
Are
gosh.
good.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, because you can stack deals.
I noticed, I would say cruises more than anything. Well, maybe all inclusives, but I feel like cruises more than anything. If you're going to book something last minute, that's probably more what I would lean more towards doing. Obviously, if you're going to a resort of any kind and depending what it is that you want to do, if you're not fussy about location or, but otherwise a cruise, I feel like you can still, even last minute, get a pretty good
Yeah.
space. I mean, just kind of depends on the cruise line too, but
Well, with the last minute cruise, you're going to know, unless you get a guarantee room, you're going to know where you're at on the ship, aft or forward or mid. And so it's not like a resort where you don't know where in this huge resort you're going to end up booking last, because they don't give you a room number when you book last minute with a resort. You're just, yeah, you may have a balcony or an ocean view or something like that. But I feel that with a cruise, 90% of the time you lock in that room so you know exactly.
no, for sure. I agree. I agree. What do you think are the most popular destinations that you guys get? Is it with anything that you book, or is it more about theme parks, or is it more on cruising, or is that pretty much people will ask you that question about when's the best time, no matter what it is that you're booking?
I think for me, it's more the cruises and the theme park type of thing. I've had a lot of European inquiries this year, more than I've ever thought I'd ever have. And there's never really the question asked of when is the best time to book that? Because I think people have done, when they're going to make an investment into an international trip, they've already invested some time into what they're getting into and kind of have an idea of the prices. And you just don't hear about last minute deals on international travel. I mean, the hotels and things.
Anytime's a good time. I think as an agency, we've really, man, this year we have been really busy doing a lot of international travel, which is unfortunate in some ways because there's so much to do, especially like the national parks. It's just something that my husband and I have been doing over the last, I'd say, 2 years. And those can be incredible. Like, it's so beautiful. Sometimes we forget that right here in our own country, it's just absolutely stunning. So I think kind of wrapping up that kind of conversation about the right time, the wrong time, I think the bottom line really is, okay, waiting can work. Booking early can work. It really just depends on kind of the personality or the feel of what you want for your vacation. If you're someone that's an absolute planner and has to have everything exactly the certain way and you have your heart set on certain things, that's one way that we would send you. And if you're someone that's just kind of going the flow and wants to get out of town or something, yeah, I think really the question is, what are you willing to give up if you take a last minute trip? Or, because, okay, if I'm going to go last minute, am I going to give up this reservation that I wanted, this room location that I want? It's just kind of finding out what it is from your client that's going to make them either not enjoy the last minute trip or enjoy the one that's planned out. So if you're trying to decide whether now is the right time to book, our advisors can help you compare your options and build a strategy that fits your vacation goals. Visit goofygetaways.com, book your trip, or use the link in the description to get started. All right, ladies. So next up, let's talk about what you should know before you're ready to book. So what do you think is the most important thing that people should know as they're starting to think about a trip? When is the right time to go? Whether it's weather, whether it's crowds. Okay, what is it that they should know in their mind before they even reach out to us?
I know for me, like, these are like my non-negotiable questions, and I also include them in my form that I like to send clients to kind of gather information, get to know them, what they're looking for and stuff. But it's important for me to know preferred dates, destination ideas, travel priorities, even party size and budget. And I don't always like to ask about budget because honestly, like, there's so much value out there no matter the destination. And if I ask for budget, I feel like sometimes the money detail can like minimize something, and I don't want my clients to focus on that. I want them to focus on the value that they're getting for the kind of experiences that they want to experience. But I would say those are like my top questions that I like to ask to kind of get a feel for what they're looking for to plan.
Yeah, I think coming with a broader base of info, I think date, party size, those are number one. And I agree with you with budget. I never like to ask somebody like, okay, what is your number? Or I like to give people, I like to hear what exactly it is that they want and then build an experience that then we can put a number to. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like you can do that for a value or for a luxury. Like you truly can. Once you know what they want, there are things that you can incorporate to make that trip exactly what it is that they want. There are exact dates too that can make or break a trip. How busy something is that can absolutely make or break a trip. Yeah, I don't think that there's really a wrong answer. I think just making sure in that first initial conversation that you have with your clients that you're listening to the key details of the things that are most important to them and then building that into the quote that you're going to give them. Because really, I don't know about you, but, before I was a travel advisor, and the worst thing in the world is when you're not listened to. Like, we talk about this as a team all the time. This isn't our trip. This is our client's
Mhm.
trip. And we always talk about the difference is listening to what it is that they want and then giving them advice or recommendations. Absolutely. But you need to listen to exactly what it is they want. There's nothing worse than going to somebody that wants to plan a trip for you that is what they would like, not what you would like. That's kind of a big, red flag, I would say, double red flag. Kind of having that experience of someone telling you what you want instead of like knowing what it is that you want. When we think about vacation priorities for our clients, is there anything that stands out for you guys? What do you think are some of the main priorities for people when they're planning a vacation? I'd say destination, probably,
Mhm.
right? Money, of course, is a factor. I mean, you've got to talk about money.
I think crowds play into it. People want to try to avoid the crowds, whether you're at an all inclusive, staying away from the spring breakers, or you're on cruise ships, when kids are on their breaks from schools, or, the amusement parks are just slammed with people. So I think people try to look at when is everybody else going and steer from that.
No, I would agree. And I think it does depend on what your client's needs are too. I mean, we have people that do want a more quiet luxury feel. They don't want a place where there are kids or trying to decide. I definitely have clients that have kids but still want more of that upscale feel. And it's just kind of a fun puzzle to put together. That's a fun part of the job for sure, is just figuring out, is your priority that you want to just lay in the sun all day and be in the spa and you want to send your kids to like a play place, or you want to be at a nice place but you want to be able to enjoy your kids? Like, it's just asking those kind of questions about what exactly it is that they expect out of this entire experience. What do you think about specific destinations, specific times? Like, what draws guests to a certain destination at a certain time? Like, for example, right? Disney at the holidays. We know that it's absolutely beautiful. It's a big pull. People want to go. They either want to go to the Christmas parade or they want to see the big tree. What do you think is the thing that really hooks people into certain destinations at certain times? Just kind of with your experience with booking. Spring break, usually people in the north want to go where it's warm.
I usually get lots of people that want something warm, especially during winter time.
Yeah, I'll have people that are look like, I don't care where it is that you're going to send me, but just get me out of the snow. I think that's a big one, especially if you live up north, right? And just when it's so dark all the time. But do you have a favorite? Like, what is your favorite time to travel, Cindy? Do you have a favorite time to travel and then a favorite like destination to travel during that time? I know you love to travel.
Well, when we started out with Disney, we were cruisers, and due to budgetary reasons, we always cruised during hurricane season because it was less expensive. And those cruise ships, those captains are not going to take you into a storm. They don't want their ship to get damaged. They don't want anybody to go through anything uncomfortable. So, I mean, that's what drew us to cruising, and we got kind of suckered in. And then I think we just kind of opened ourselves to any time because our kids are not older, but when our kids were growing up, we tried to go with school schedules so they missed the least amount of school.
Now, what about you've got grandkids that you love to travel with? So now for a little while, you got away from that having to do like the spring break in the summer. Now you're probably kind of back into that, right?
Well, I'm taking the ones that aren't 3 yet, so we don't have to deal with school, and they're free. I mean, cruising in the summer is okay if you really want to enjoy an intense heat, because no matter where you go, unless you're going to Alaska or the
I would
Mediterranean, I mean,
agree.
you're going to get heat. And amusement parks in the summer, I think kind of the same thing. You got to be prepared. And I think most people know that if you're going to go to Florida in the summer, you're going to get rain every day and you're going to get probably a lot of sun.
Yeah. I know as an agency, a lot of times we do a lot of on-site trainings in the summer just because it does seem to work better. We do have a lot of teachers, but then we also have a lot of families. So if kids are out of school, it's easier for, an agent to go to a training. I mean, it is hot and you just know that up front. It's like you just plan in breaks and some air conditioning and some pool time. So would you say your favorite is still cruising probably?
Oh, absolutely.
And whether you're planning it for a long time or it's a quick trip, right? We've
Yep.
done both. And we've
I,
done both together, actually. We've
yeah.
had trips that we've planned for a long time, and then we've had Like last
Last
minute
minute
ones
ones,
where,
yep.
yeah,
And for length of cruises, I prefer 5 nights or longer. I just feel
me
that
too.
3 nights, you're no sooner on the ship and you're off the ship. You
It's
really
always that little
don't.
tease.
I mean, you're paying for an experience. I mean, you want to get to know what these ships all have to offer. And now some of them are so huge, you need a week to check them out. And some of them that are more in the moderate size are just so unique and different that you enjoy them more.
Yeah. What about you, Arliss? We've done a lot of talking about our favorite time to travel. When's your favorite time?
So for me and my family, it depends. But like I said, I'm from Puerto Rico, and my family's preferred time to travel there is usually during Christmas time up until I would say like early April. And because Puerto Rico, it is hot all year round. It never gets cold, but it's more bearable during those months. And for Disney, we try to avoid when it's not hot. So we like early spring and early winter. So around Thanksgiving time, December. It'll just depends. Like we're more weather driven more than anything.
And so your girls probably don't mind heat.
No,
Are
they
they used
love
to
it.
traveling with the heat? Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. They
I
love
bet.
it so much.
Yeah, I still think cruising is probably still my favorite. I do like traveling in the winter to get out of the winter, but now that we're in Florida most of the year, now I'm like, okay, I think it's time for us to take a trip to Alaska because now I'm used to the heat and I'm ready to go get like some cold air. But yeah, I think that there's nothing that's set in stone that's like this perfect puzzle that is the same pieces for everybody. It's definitely everybody has their own puzzle that you have to fit together. All right. If you want help understanding when to book a specific destination, our advisors stay on top of pricing trends, promotions, and availability so you don't have to. Visit goofygetaways.com/book your trip or use the link in our description. It's time for traveler stories because sometimes the best way to explain what we do is to let our travelers tell you themselves. So this is from the Armbrecht family. Wow, Nadia's kindness and expertise were off the charts helpful when we planned our last Disney trip. She got us up to speed on general park and ticket line navigation and helped us book some sweet hotels. We actually loved the Riviera and restaurants. She nailed the itineraries. Every day was action-packed, but still left time to improvise or relax poolside. It honestly made the experience so stress-free. She even checked in periodically both prior to and during the trip to make sure that things were running as smoothly as possible. Most fun of all, she found some really cool features for us that we would have missed completely. Places with creative cuisine for lunch, late night dinner at the Beast Castle, and fun character experiences. There is absolutely zero chance that I would consider another Disney trip without using Goofy Getaways. Trust me, they will help you maximize your Disney experience in every way. So huge thank you to Nadia's clients. We thank you so much for booking with Goofy Getaways. We're glad that you had an amazing experience, and we look forward to planning some more trips for you. If you have a traveler story of your own, we would love to hear it. Use the link in the description to share your experience with Goofy Getaways. All right, as we circle back to, when is the time to book? When isn't the time to book? We've been doing this for a long time. We all have different kind of clients. So I feel like no matter what, the question that I'm going to ask you to share is going to be different for all three of us. But can you each tell me about a time where a situation in waiting for a trip and actually planning a trip out was super successful for a client? And did you ever have a time where there was a situation that actually hurt the client for waiting instead of going last minute?
So I'll start with the one that didn't work out. So I had this client reach out and it was very last minute. Her husband works in the baseball field and she was like, hey, we want to try to go to Disney World, but we want to go right before my husband starts the baseball season. And it was literally like within 2 weeks notice. So we tried to look all of the hotel options that she was interested in. They were all booked, unfortunately. And it was the ones that were available, the pricing was a little bit out of their budget. So it didn't work out.
Yeah, that last minute
It was
trip. And
so
I'll tell you,
sad.
we love athletes and booking trips for athletes.
Mhm.
As an agency, several of us have clients that are professional athletes. And that is something sometimes with their schedules, because they are so all over the place, you do get like someone that wants that last minute and you can't give them that last minute trip. That is absolutely the worst.
So
Okay, so
sad.
I
Yeah.
know, and then you feel helpless. All right, so now let's flip it. Flip it and tell me the time it did work. Like let's end
Yeah.
that on a positive, right? A
Yes.
positive note.
So I also work with some military families, and I had this particular family where they're like, we want to plan ahead, but we just don't know if my husband's going to be getting deployed or not. But let's just lock it in. Let's lock in the price. And if it ends up happening, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But it ended up working out. We did have to do some modifications for their dates, but it worked. They got the type of room that they wanted. They had the best experience. And I think it was just the fact that even though time frame for the husband's deployment was uncertain, they were still willing to go early and get the best
Okay.
price possible.
Yeah,
So
and the best
they were willing to be
experience, probably.
flexible. But yeah, I was so glad that it happened for them. But those are situations that just happen that are outside of their control and out of our control as
Right?
well.
Right. Sometimes those fall right into our lap, right?
Mhm.
People that you just didn't know you were actually going to have some time, or you actually know that you're not going to have time until a little bit further along. So kind of anxiously waiting. What about you, Sin?
When I had one that did not work out, it was somebody that was waiting for the cruise, and we did find a good price, and they got the kind of stateroom they wanted, but they couldn't get the excursions that they wanted. The dining times were late. It just, all the extras that they wanted to do, it just wasn't going to work out for them. And so they ended up not taking the last minute because they realized that planning ahead would give them a little more flexibility in what they could do.
For sure. Like, what destination do you feel like actually kind of rewards you for planning things out? And I would absolutely say that's like a theme park, no matter what, if it's Universal or Disneyland, Disney World, because I feel like if you plan that out, then you're able to get all of those things, the dining reservations, the lightning lanes, all of those things. Then I feel like the destination that would definitely be more of like a last minute. I still feel like you can still get cruises last minute pretty well. So I think it just goes back to the very beginning. It just depends. There might be a time where you think a destination is going to be completely full and booked, or a cruise ship that, that's not going to fill. And then, I even think about the Wish sailing that we're doing as an agency in January. And there was so much availability on that sailing, which is why we picked it. And of course, I always tell everyone, like, let's lock it in early. So I'm glad that everybody that 100% knew they wanted to go did that, because now that ship is full. Like, still, there are people that are reaching out like, hey, and it's kind of goes back to the same thing. How many times have you had someone that says, look, I'm not sure if my whole family's going to go. I have a or 4 of us, but I'm just going to book the 2 of us, and then I'll add the kids later. And then you go to add them later, and people don't realize that once that ship hits a certain weight and a certain capacity, you can't add extra people. So where I'm saying like last minute cruises are great. Yeah, last minute cruises that pop up exactly what you're looking for. But booking like a last minute, adding people on to something that you've already planned, I always caution to not ever do that. I don't know, kind of like what's like the main takeaway? The main takeaway of this is it all depends on your client. It all depends where they're going. And it all just, it's all part of the little puzzle that you're going to put together for each client individually, wouldn't you say? When you are thinking about a trip for a client, what is it that you need individually? I'll let you both kind of talk about this and like your own business and the way that you work your own business. What is it that you need from a client in order to give them the best recommendation?
I think getting as much information like we've talked about in the past from my client so that I can investigate and prepare my best quote for them, knowing exactly, the ages of the kids. What are the kids interested in too? Because you not only want the parents to be happy on the trip, but if the kids are happy, everybody's happy. I feel like just the more information I can get from somebody is what I really need and what makes it all work. A timing that they want to go. Never look at budget, because they're gonna come in way low, I think, because they have no idea. That's why they're using a travel agent to begin with. So
Right.
I will let budget come in later, in case they're
Yeah,
looking to
absolutely.
take the quote I gave them and increase it to make it better. Then we kind of look at, okay, what do you really want to add and how much do you really want to invest? And, where do you get back for that investment?
Yeah. What about you, Arliss, when you're working on a trip for somebody? What is it that you feel like you really need in order to give them the best information?
I want to know where they're going and I want to know their preferred dates and the type of experience that they're looking for, especially if they're traveling with little kids. Like as a mom, I think it's very beautiful to see or experience things through your kids' eyes. And I want to know how the parents feel about that. And then we just kind of cater that to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think it's important to know that, yes, there are a lot of questions that we're going to ask up front. However, don't feel like when you come to your travel advisor that you have to have everything figured out. That's not what we're saying at all.
Mhm.
We just want to know those key things that are most important to you so that we can then help you figure out what are the things that you're trying to figure out together that are most important. But you definitely don't have to have the everything. You just kind of need to let us know who's going, how many, and what your priorities are with where you want to go and the timing that you want to go. And then I feel like that's when we kind of try to start working our magic and putting all of the pieces together.
Sometimes I'll ask my clients what made them want to book a trip, because it could be that, well, my kids were talking, they saw this or they saw that, or, we saw a commercial about this not state park, but national park that they wanted to go see, or they saw something in a TV show. But I mean, I try to find out, so why did you want to book this trip? Some of them are saying, well, it's our first time to Disney and we feel the kids are the right age. It's just that sometimes can then spark, I feel, more information from them that they didn't even realize they wanted to share, but kind of got the wheels rolling.
No, I would agree with that. Sometimes the questions that they think we want answers to aren't really the ones that we need in order to make it, you know what I mean, perfect for them. Yeah. So I think, kind of the takeaway from the episode today is that truly the best time to book, it's not like a specific number. We can't tell you like, oh, book 18 months ahead of time or, oh, book 6 months ahead of time. It all goes down to what it is that you want out of the trip. And then we can help. I think that we pride ourselves in making the most memorable, positive, incredible experiences for our clients, whether we planned a last minute trip or it was something that we had lots and lots of time to book. So I think no matter which situation you're in, I guarantee you that a Goofy Getaways travel consultant is going to be able to help you navigate whatever that looks like.
I think from my years of experience so far being a travel advisor, booking isn't necessarily just about price, it's more about the options. So if you're somebody who values having options to choose from, it's so important. So important, whether you want to book early or you want to wait a little bit.
No, I think that's a really good point. Yeah. As we kind of get ready to wrap up here, would you each like to take just like 30 seconds to tell us what your specialty is with, if it's families, if it's whatever it is that you like to book in your destinations? I would love to be able to have them reach out and tell them what your email is too, so they can reach out to you specifically if they like what you had to say on today's podcast.
So you can reach me at cindy@goofygetaways.com. I definitely will reply to emails within 24 hours, guaranteed. So my specialty, I feel, is working with families. I've done a lot of multi-generational trips. I have a lot of parents that I've booked when their children were young and now their children are older and they've got grandkids in the pictures. And so that way it's kind of grown. I love Disney, anything Disney. Anything Disney, I just absolutely love to book. All inclusives, cruises, Universal. I mean, I will look into anything for you. And if I feel that I'm not going to provide you the best information, I would absolutely reach out to a fellow agent that can offer that for you.
I think that's what's so special about our agency too, is how we all work so well together. And we say all the time, it is not a competition between each other. We work really well together because we do have some people that specialize in certain things and they're always more than happy to help. I will say, because Cindy and I have been doing this together for a long time. She's been with me since I opened the agency. We were at another agency together prior. And it's really where I was always really kind of focused on like that Disney, because that's what worked for me, booking Disney, booking like that Universal trip. Now, 13 and a half years later, I've absolutely ventured out and I love to book a lot of other things. But Cindy really is the first one that really kind of opened me a little bit, even the agency, to other people that wanted to book other type of destinations. And so you really are the one that kind of dipped the Goofy Getaway toes into that. And we're like, I think making us a little more comfortable, because you are really good at Disney, but you book a lot of other stuff too. Cindy's definitely one that is I am just trying to think of the word because I just lost it, but she a researcher. Like if you tell her that this is what you're thinking, this is what you want to do, we joke about it because I think I do take pride in the training program that we have as an agency for our consultants. Much different than when we started doing this, because when we started doing this, you're on your own. I mean, you have to learn the destinations, all of it. You're really teaching yourself, other than the classes that you take to teach you. But really, when it came to exploring new things, Cindy was the one that really taught us the most about that and kind of working with other vendors. And so now I think we do an amazing job training our agents, sometimes to a fault, but I really think back sometimes, and Cindy and I will chuckle and be like, man, if people knew what it was like when we first started doing this to where it is now. But yeah, just my plug for Cindy. I mean, I think you're very good at Disney, but I also think that you do a really good job booking other destinations, because you are absolutely a researcher. And where you say that you'll ask somebody for you absolutely will ask them. You're
Mhm.
not too proud to do that, but you do so much of your research ahead of time, even before you reach out to people. I've always respected that about you, for sure. So
Well, thank you.
that's Cindy, and that's Cindy at goofygetaways.com. And now, Arliss, it's your turn, ma'am. Tell us your
Yeah.
favorite things and your specialty.
So my specialty is families with young kids, especially ages 3 to 9. That's usually my most popular age group. And I love anything Disney, anything Universal Studios, and Disney Cruise Line. And I also love tropical destinations because I am an island girl and I feel like everybody should experience that island tropical life at some point in their lives, especially the Caribbean. And I also, this is very near and dear to my heart, but I love my Hispanic and Latin community. As a Spanish speaker, I think it's so important to be able to book these special vacations for my Spanish speaking families and help them feel comfortable in their own language and help them feel confident when they go into these vacations, because a lot of these destinations are only English speaking or some other language, and just being able to have somebody that they can talk to in their own language, I think it's such a humbling experience and just a way for me to connect with them and know where they're coming from as well, because I've definitely been on their shoes too. So that's something that I think is very special for me as a travel advisor, is
Yeah, I think
that
it's
I can
something that as an
connect.
agency that we really, really leaned into, especially, especially for you. It's something that we absolutely are really, really proud of you, and really proud of being able to offer that, and really bringing in more Spanish speaking, whether we're doing a podcast or we're doing like an advisor highlight. It's so important, even in the content that we're giving people. And so I love that you are so willing to share that also, share that with us. And I love to tell my little story with Arliss. And when she came and interviewed with the company, she had, looked at a couple other places, and they just were like, yeah, just don't have enough experience. And I just chuckle now because I'm like, okay, well, maybe you didn't think that she did, and I'm the lucky one because we got her here at Goofy Getaways. And sometimes I'd like to give phone calls to those people that didn't think that you had enough, because wouldn't they be dying to have you now? But I do love, that you are very open about sharing your family too, and you make your girls such a part of your journey and what you're doing. And I mean, I've watched you as a woman. It makes me so proud of you as a mom and a woman, showing your daughters what they can do by watching you work so hard at what you're doing and the way that you've grown your business. So, I'm proud of you, and I love to have you on the team because I tell you that. But yeah, we're very, very lucky. I'm very lucky that I get to have the two of you on this podcast, where this is kind of a topic that we could probably talk about for 10 minutes, but really just wanted to dive in and really get in the nitty-gritty of what it is, that number one question that we're asked, and how we answer it. So thank you both so much for taking time to be on the podcast. Hopefully you've gotten all kinds of good info. Hopefully we haven't scared you away too much. Make sure that you like and you share the podcast. Subscribe to us too. I mean, we really are a lot of fun. Check out our socials, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all of those fun things. And just know that no matter where you are in the planning process, we are here here to help. Whether you're planning next year's dream vacation or you're trying to pull together a last-minute getaway, our advisors can help navigate the options and find the vacation that is right for you. Visit goofygetaways.com/book-your-trip or use the link in the description to get started. That is it for today's episode. Thank you so much for being here. And until next time, let Goofy Getaways lead you to the magic.